Hi, everyone, and welcome to the REFSIX weekly podcast. Today we have my co-host John with us.
Oh,
We have Karl from Sussex, we have Matt from Surrey, and we have Callum from Liverpool. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
yeah, all good here.
All good, Hassan.
Great. Thanks for joining us today. We'll get into having a chat with you guys in a second. I'll just go through a couple of bits of news that people might want to know about. So obviously, at least for referees in England, you'll be happy to have heard Boris on Monday talk about the different openings of England and what's going to happen in terms of lockdown. So it's been announced that in late March, grassroots football can return. So I would imagine that friendlies will start happening at grassroots level, and hopefully for a return to kind of league and cup competitions in April, should those leagues and cup competitions still haven't voted to null and void and still continue. So that's one piece. And the second piece, which is quite interesting, is the PGMOL have now created their own Twitter account. So definitely, if you're out there and want to follow the news from them, the Twitter account is at FA_PGMOL, and it is an official PGMOL account. So long in the making. I'm glad they're finally joining the social media ranks and see what they have to say and what they're doing. So yeah, let's just start with the game from last night in the Premier League, the Southampton Leeds game. What one should we talk about first? The penalty that was awarded by Andre Mariner, and that was then overturned through VAR. So, Cole, did you watch it? Do you want to give a little overview of what happened from your eyes?
Yeah, I've caught up with the highlights today, having been recording videos as a primary school teacher last night, which is always fun when you get home from a day at work, but that's another story. Yeah, so I think it was Teller, the Southampton players, gone through against the defender, who looks to have made a tackle but then taken his leg away. And in viewing it over the several replays, it looks like Teller's right leg has gone himself voluntarily into the defender's leg to try and initiate contact. Obviously, Andre Marina's given the penalty. He's in a good position, to be fair. Didn't seem to be blocked off by anyone. Was in a good position. And then Kevin Friend has signalled over to him via the earpiece to have another look. I think, having not seen it last night and watching it on the clip after work today, I don't understand how it's taken, again, so long. I think the last time I was on, we had the Brighton-Southampton penalty that took 4 minutes to work out what was going on. And today it seemed to take 2-3 minutes again from the first view in what looked like a clear no penalty for me. I think then Mariners had to chug over to the VAR TV screen that seemed to be on the other side of the pitch. And interestingly, he didn't run. Most other referees are running over, but he just barely just walked over and took 3-4 views of it, a lot longer than Chris Kavanagh did at the weekend anyway, but and then overturned his decision. But I don't think there was a yellow given for simulation at all, which surprised me.
Yeah. Callum, do you want to have any thoughts on this? Do you think do you think it was a penalty, or do you think what do you think it was?
I think the right decision came to fruition in the end. I think Andre's in a good position. He shows good dynamic movement to get into the box, and in real time, I did think myself it was a penalty. I think it was a good use of VAR. I know Karl's just alluded to the fact that we took a few times to look at it, but I think you've got to be certain. I think the lads at the Premier League level are under a lot of pressure at the minute, along with VAR. So I think it's important that they get things right. And I think it was a good advert for VAR last night. So yeah, happy with the decision. But I think Andre's initial on-field decision, I can back that as well. He's a very experienced official, and he's proved that last night with the way he's moved in around the penalty area, which, as we know, as officials, are very important.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting because, like you say, from Andre's position and seeing it, it looks like a pen, but then as you move that camera angle slightly around, and slow it down a little bit, you can start to see the movement of the attacker to the defender rather than the other way around. And I think, yes, Karl, I can understand the frustration in terms of time it takes, but also Callum, your point is completely valid, which is, this is a major decision. I think it was 0-0 at the time, so it's probably a big game-changing decision. And you see what happens after it. It goes from could have been 1-0 to Southampton all the way to 3-0 to Leeds. So it would have been a major decision. The interesting thing, I think, was the fact that there was no yellow card shown after the incident for simulation. So basically, from my understanding, there's really 3 outcomes that could have happened from that incident. Andre Mariner could have said, actually, it's still a penalty, and gave the penalty. He could have said, hey, it's simulation, I'm going to give a yellow card and give a defensive free kick. And the third is he could say, well, actually, it's not a penalty, but it's also not simulation, so I can give a drop ball to the goalkeeper because it's in the box. Matt and John, do you have any other things to add? I think the guys kind of explained it pretty well there.
Just to cover Karl's thing about why there was no yellow card issue, because I did check on this. Andre Mariner has actually given a free kick a direct free kick against Southampton, because having looked at the footage, he's deemed the Southampton player has caused the foul tackle. So that's why no yellow has been issued, because it's not a dive. He's actually just given it for the foul tackle.
Okay, interesting.
So
Great.
that's why. But also, that was an interesting, because I like you, Karl. I watched the highlights on YouTube this morning, and I thought, I can understand why Andre Mariner has given a penalty. I can also understand why VAR says, hang on, you need to have a look at it. But we have to remember VAR is clear and obvious. And if he's having to have 4 or 5 looks at it, you then have to wonder, is it a clear and obvious error?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. But cool. But it sounds like to everyone that actually the correct outcome was had. So that's the great. Let's move on to the quick free kick. So I think James Ward-Prowse played the ball through to Danny Ings, who put it in the box, put it in the goal. As the free kick was taken, just after it, Andre Mariner appears to blow his whistle to stop play, basically saying it was a quick, you've taken it too early, guys. Let's play it. It's on my whistle, etc. John, what are your thoughts on that one?
I had to rewatch it about 3 or 4 times, actually, because I'm convinced you hear the ball is played, so you hear James Ward-Prowse hear the ball, and then you hear a whistle as if he was indicating for James Ward-Prowse to go, and then you hear a whistle again to say stop.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm aware, he must have told James Ward-Prowse it's on my whistle, because he's blown to restart play, and it's tight, but the whistle definitely comes after James Ward-Prowse has kicked it, and the whistle to then say we're restarting comes before the ball is in the back of the net. It's when the Southampton player has the ball at his feet. So I think he's right. It looks a bit messy, but it always does in that scenario. But I feel like the more you watch it, the more you can see the referee is right to call it. He blows at the right time. James Ward-Prowse is taking it quick. And even when the camera's on him, you can see he was saying, he got his whistle up and he was saying, like, he didn't play it on the whistle. Like, you can see he must have explained it to the players.
So interestingly, Matt, from your disciplinary background, sometimes you'll see when a quick free kick is taken like that, the referee will administer a yellow card occasionally, right? As well, that didn't happen last night. So talk us through what your thoughts are around that.
I've literally just watched the clip back myself on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, if Andre Mariner is clearly he's given the free kick and he says, no, hang on, wait, it's on the whistle. That's a clear indication that the ball is dead until that whistle is blown again to start play. So I think the only time you'd have a caution sanction for that is basically the referee's literally looked at the player taking the free kick and said, it's on my whistle, and then he just basically says, no, I don't care what you're saying, I'm taking it anyway. And that would be a caution, as I understand it, for delaying the restart of play. But in that situation, I guess it's Southampton are wanting to take it quickly, and there's just been a misunderstanding of the situation. It is frustrating for Southampton because obviously they've got the ball in the back of the net. They think they've scored a goal, but correctly, it's not been allowed because obviously no one else is expecting it.
Yeah, I think, John, your observations of like the timing of the events happening, the free kick being taken, then the whistle blowing, which sounded like the whistle to take the free kick, is the key incident there. Callum, do you have anything that you would do?
Oh, I think John and Matt summed it up nicely. I think it's the correct decision. Like John said, the free kick's clearly been taken before the whistle has been blown by Andre, and I think to start giving cautions out for taking free kicks when you're not supposed to, I think you're going down a very dangerous path in terms of match control. For me, Leeds have switched off. Southampton has seen an opportunity, but you're always going to have one team disappointed either way. If he allows the goal, Leeds are going to come for you.
Yeah.
If he disallows the goal, Southampton are going to come for you. So yeah, it's a messy situation, but he's got it right in the end.
No, brilliant. Cool. So let's move from, where was the game? At Leeds, at Ellen Road. Let's move from Leeds, Yorkshire, to Mexico, sunny Mexico, where, for those who are listening, probably have seen on the BBC or on some form of social network, a really interesting incident that happened in the Mexican leagues, where the attacking team have broken. The attacker shoots, hits the post. It comes back to another attacker who shoots, and it looks like it's at least definitely going towards goal. There may be a defender in the way, but actually hits the referee and goes out behind the goal line. So I'm pretty confident if you're listening to this podcast, you would have seen this video. Firstly, let me just say that I actually know the Mexican referee, Oscar Macias. He is a FIFA referee and is a fantastic referee. And I know for sure, I haven't spoken to him since, but I know for sure that he would have hated the fact that, a video like this has gone viral. He would have preferred, something, different to probably go viral here. So I'm super intrigued to know what your thoughts are. I think my first overriding thought was sympathy, because, actually what he's done is, he's rapid. He's managed to keep up with the break. He's in the box, and he's just probably gone a few, yards too far. But it shows, it's a really good example of, having to be aware and think about positioning it. So, Callum, I'll start with you. Like, what was your overriding thoughts when you watched this?
What a block! What a great block! Great defending. No, like you say, Hassan, it's unfortunate. It's great movements. I think if the goal goes in, we're talking about best practice here in terms of fitness and positioning and movement. But again, it comes back to awareness. Just potentially just hold off. I think breaking the box is brilliant, and sometimes we've got to as match officials. I think in this scenario, I don't think it's needed. He's got a clear and unobstructed view. If he just hangs on the 18-yard box, if a potential tackle comes in, he just got a little bit too eager, and unfortunately has paid the price for it.
Yeah. Karl, what did you think when you watched it back?
I mean, I've never been in the penalty area, so I congratulate him. The only time I've been in there, if it's downhill and I can't stop, that's the only time. Well, I actually tweeted about it, didn't I? Because I tweeted, yeah. I tagged you guys in it, because I wasn't initially sure of what the restart would be.
Yeah.
Having had the changes in the rules with if it hits a ref, it's a drop ball. But then obviously it changes slightly. I'm sure you'll go into more detail rather than me fumbling around with the laws, which hopefully something that would never happen. But yeah, like we said, it's super that he's got that far, but maybe too far. And I think probably the whole world might have been confused with what happened next.
Yeah. I think in that situation, you could see him thinking, what's the next restart, right? And kind of to your point when you said Andre Mariner walked over to the VAR box last night, sometimes, taking an extra few seconds and slowing it down for yourself can give you thinking time, right? So I could definitely see this. Oscar was really thinking through, okay, damn, that's just happened. Okay, let's get the restart right. It wasn't clear exactly. I think he gave a drop ball. It wasn't specifically clear because the video cut afterwards. It looked like he was about to give a drop ball. And because it was in the penalty area, I'm going to assume it was to the goalkeeper. That was the decision that we actually tweeted and said was the correct decision. However, we stand corrected because Matt, you're smiling, so it sounds like you know what the right decision is.
Yeah, I mean, I think firstly, yeah, great positioning. Well, great fitness position from the referee, but yeah, in the wrong place. So Dutch referee wrote about this, I think, in the last 24 hours. The correct restart is actually just to drop the goal kick.
Yeah.
But I guess it wouldn't. Well, yeah, law says it's a goal kick because that's what law dictates. I think flipping this around, trying and sort of playing devil's advocate. Imagine the hassle if the ball had come off the referee and gone into the goal.
Yeah,
he's then got to disallow that goal, even if the ball was clearly going in. If it comes off the referee, nope, you're doing a drop ball for the goal kick, and that's when all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
So,
that's interesting. I'm not going to commit to that being the correct decision because I've got it wrong this week. So I will definitely double check and see if
do
it
a
does.
VAR check on it.
Because technically, it's come from the attacking team. They haven't gained. The other team will need to research that. But basically, because the ball went out of play, it is a goal kick. But if the ball had stayed in play, then it would have been a drop ball is the outcome. So my belief is IFAB are definitely going to be looking at that clip and trying to reword the law there. John, what did you think as you were watching it back? Because you were probably similar to Karl in the sense that, oh, wow, he's made it, you never see a referee in the penalty area that quick.
Yeah, my first reaction was, you poor guy.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I always link it back to me, and I thought if that happened to me, I probably would cry. Because you're standing there and you think this is not going to end well on the map, because you know that you're either given a drop ball in the penalty area, so the team are basically going to be like, what's going on? We basically had the ball in the back of the net and now the keeper's got it. So trying to explain that to a Sunday League team or any team probably below FIFA standard is going to be a trek and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those ones, if he got out of the way, fitness positioning, everyone's going, unbelievable, well done. They're all applauding him. And unfortunately, he's probably like, second late?
Yeah.
And now it's all gone viral because he's become the 12th defender.
This it's really funny because no one's criticizing the initial striker who hit the post, because he had an open goal and it was probably harder to hit the post and score the goal there. But that's such is the life that we lead as referees, right?
Yeah.
So moving on. So Sky Sports and the Times reported that the charity Ref Support have put together an initiative called Give the Ref a Hand, which is all to do with, as we return to play, trying to encourage the teams to clap for the referee only on that first game back, to kind of showcase, the animosity or a nice feeling towards the referee.
The appreciation towards
the appreciation. There you go. So interestingly, I've refereed in Portugal at a tournament out there, and this actually happens in different countries. So the Portuguese, when you stand and do the handshake, before you do that, the referee blows their whistle and the teams clap, and apparently it's for the referee. Again, I'll stand to be corrected if I'm wrong, but that's what I was told, and that's what the story I'm sticking to. But yeah, really super interesting that it happens there, and that this is an idea that's put forth. I've had a look around, Facebook and Twitter for reaction from both clubs, players, and also referees. It's definitely had an indifferent response. Some fans and some clubs are saying, well, no, you're useless as it is. Why do I need to applaud you? Whereas, and some referees like the idea and some don't. So just wanted to kick it around and get your thoughts, really. So John, you can have a first stab at this one.
Wonderful. I like the idea of people supporting the referees more in terms of, abuse, and, you hear it a lot about, no ref, no game. I agree with that. I don't agree with being clapped onto the pitch, because we're told from when we start our course to have the perfect game is to get in, get out, get unnoticed. And by being clapped on or clapped at from the start raises your profile already, I feel. Like, the last thing I want is to raise my profile before the game. Just let me get on with it. I'd rather be clapped off. That would be great. It's a first for everything, but clapped on, it raises my profile straight away, and I'd rather be undetected the whole way through. But that's my opinion on it.
No, that's fair. Cole, you're a manager and a referee, so can you wear both hats in your answer to this one?
Yeah, I was just visualising 30 blokes at Waterhall in Brighton on a cold Sunday morning, still probably hungover. It wouldn't, I don't think at lower level, possibly, it would have the same effect. It may be seen as something they were forced to do and maybe not feel it, depending on where it is. I think, as John said, I think there's definitely some sort of appreciation should be shown somewhere. But for me, I as both a manager and a referee, as John said, I don't think I'd want myself being clapped. I do football pretty much, again, that's odd if I've got 12, 13, 14-year-olds clapping a 32-year-old onto the pitch. I mean, again, if they see my warm-up to make the kickoff, I'd be happy with that. But and as a manager, I think there'd be some players that would probably be moaning at me making them do it, particularly depending on who it was that was in charge as well, possibly. So yeah, nice idea, but I think something else might need to happen. Maybe a free season without paying fees from the FA might go down. I shouldn't have said that probably, but
no, interesting. I think I love the sentiment behind it. I think that actual initiative, the actual thing is maybe divisive a little. Not divisive is probably too strong a word, but people are having very different opinions. So Matt, what are your thoughts? And Callum, I'm coming to you purposefully last because you're a level 3. I feel like it's a different
perspective
arena up there. Perspective. So Matt, you go first.
I think similar with John. I like the idea that they're trying to sort of do something to show appreciation for the match officials, because we are underappreciated. I don't think the idea of applauding the referee before the game is going to work. We already have the well-established protocol of the FA's respect program. Obviously, the handshakes are on hold at the moment for obvious reasons. I just think, actually, if you're going to show your appreciation for the referee, do it, and you genuinely mean it. Do it after the game, because the referee's going to think, my goodness, that was a really difficult 90 minutes. But if you've got, not necessarily being applauded, but players and managers coming up to them, actually, thanks, ref. We know that was a difficult game, but we appreciate you doing it, and that actually carries more meaning. And also, you're going to have to say players. The suggestion of players and managers applauding the referee on the field. How do you know one or two of them aren't doing it sarcastically? And then and also the referee could say, "Okay, you're doing dissent by gesture. You can have the first 10 minutes off in the sin bin." Yeah,
Matt, I bet your game's a carnage, mate.
We've heard, have you?
Go on, Callum.
So I think it's right idea in terms of showing support for the match officials, but I think there are better executions of that idea available.
Cool. Go on, Callum. Your world is different to ours, so
I mean, I just think it's a non-starter. To be frank. I can see where the sentiments come from, but when I seen it, I did sort of laugh out loud. I just couldn't imagine walking out in the Northern Premier League or the Conference North and getting a guard of honour. I just couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine it even at Sunday League level in Liverpool. I think, like Karl said, hungover fellas from a Saturday night clapping a ref on. Maybe a kid's football level, but I think for me, there's just got to be a culture change. And I think us as referees, we've got to be honest with ourselves and go, it's part and parcel of the job. You're always going to upset someone. I can hand on heart say I've never been abused. I wouldn't class anything I've had to deal with in the 5 years that I've been refereeing as abuse. I think abuse is a very, very, very strong word, and I wouldn't use it to describe anything that I've ever encountered. I've encountered negativity like we all have, but I wouldn't say it's abuse. I have seen people get abused, and it is a problem, but it's not just a problem for referees, it's a problem for players at the moment. And I think we're seeing it, with the Black Lives Matter, the racism, the gesture that's happening in the Premier League, the minute of taking the knee isn't working. Players are still getting abused. So will clapping a referee on stop referee abuse? I don't think so. because the first throw-in that you get wrong after you've been clapped on, you're going to get a dog's life regardless. So I just think it's a non-starter. I think we've got to see a culture change, and unfortunately, I think the way football's been since the beginning of time, I don't think we're going to see one unless something seriously drastic happens. But I can't see it myself. I think it's just something that we've got to live with and have thick skin for. And I enjoy it at times. It's nice, you know. I think if you don't get a bit of stick through the game, I think you're doing something wrong probably.
I would agree with that. So do you think we have a responsibility as referees? Like sometimes we want the teams and the players to, kind of fall in line and respect us. But do you not think sometimes we need to give a little bit back ourselves? For example, I just think as soon as you I don't think we do a good job of giving a referee's perspective back to the players and clubs. They're like, why? They don't really understand why we're referees. The real reason we're referees is because we aren't good enough to be playing in their position. We'd love to be playing football, in their position, right? So I think there's an opportunity as a community of referees to, try our best to be a little bit more transparent, a bit more open, a little bit more explanatory to players, to clubs in our conversations with them, and just be a bit more friendlier with them. And then as soon as we're friendly with them, there shouldn't be an issue, or hopefully they'll think about the abuse going forward. But if you turn up to a game and the first encounter with the coach or the players is just blowing your whistle, then you're not doing your job. You should be trying to have a chat with them before the game, just saying hi and just, blah, blah, blah. So just through the warm up. So yeah, I think there's things that we can learn. Like I said, I like the sentiment. Matt, you mentioned maybe not the right execution, possibly. I think it's generated a conversation, which is a good thing at least. Cool. So I'll move on to our final topic of the chat today, and it's all about returning to football. So Boris has said end of March. I think it was 29th of March.
Yeah.
29th, yeah.
So assuming that everything continues the way it is, so we'll be playing football then. My gut feel is that it'll probably be about a week, 2 weeks of friendlies before seasons resume. Callum, you mentioned that you'd been doing some games already in January. What are your thoughts? Excited? I put a poll out on Twitter just before this, so let me find the results. So I asked a question that was basically with the announcement that football's going to resume in England, are you going to be straight back out refereeing? And the different answers or options I gave to people were yes from the first match, wait till vaccinated, come back next season, and said thinking about retiring. So those were the four options. Massively, 70% of people who replied said that they were going to be straight back out there refereeing as soon as they could. And then it was a split, 10% each way, really. Wait till be vaccinated, come back next season, and 10% are thinking about giving it up, which is probably a normal number per season, I would assume. So, yeah, Karl, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts in terms of, and with your manager hat on as well, like, are you excited for the season to start again?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd stand there and miss standing on the sideline on a Saturday, chucking down with rain the last few Saturdays. And I want to be out there standing doing nothing, just shouting at my players. But I think from a manager's point of view, I could do with a couple of weeks for friendlies, because I know that half of them, if they're like me, none of them have done any fitness at all over the break. I know that the Sussex Sunday League have put a fixture already on that Monday, literally on the 29th.
Oh, wow.
So I'm kind of hoping for a couple of weeks for friendlies, but then that would then cause the issue of having to play probably Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Easter Monday, and so on. From a rest point of view, I had a fixture set for last Sunday, which I didn't hear anything about, so just assume it didn't happen. Otherwise, I didn't turn up. But so I'm really excited to get back going into it. I'll be contacting the youth leagues and trying to see if I can do a 2 or 3 midweekers and then a Sunday as well. But as for the COVID part, I think at park football, it's very easy to keep yourself separate when it's only you as a referee out there, and people keep themselves generally separate anyway. I think there's always been some issues with is it the referee's job to sort out any of the COVID regulations? I know I've had a few debates with referees as a manager when he's asked me to, if you don't move these people away from 2 meters from each other, I'll abandon the game. So there's been a few little conversations with that, to which I said, can you move? Oh, we're a bubble. I was like, well, there you go, I've done my bit. And then he sort of came back over. And so that will be interesting to see where they put that level on officials and what the new guidance is. I know the FA have put out that the season can be extended till June.
Okay.
Our pitch is shared with cricket, so that could make things interesting. But yeah, massively excited. I don't think the missus is as excited, but yeah, can't wait to get out. As with your question about am I in shape? I've been in shape at a circle. So I am massively in shape, just the wrong shape, unfortunately.
No, that's fair enough. And you mentioned cricket and clubs sharing grounds with cricket clubs. I tell you one thing: cricket will not want to give up any time. They missed all of the summer last year, so that's going to be the big challenge: is fixture congestion.
Yep.
Even now that dates are available, I still think some leagues will consider cancelling and moving to some form of cup tournament, just because some leagues have still got 20-30 games to get finished. I still think it's going to be a challenge. John, are you excited? I know you're in the group of level 4s who are looking at promotion and things like that, so at least now if there's games, you've got the opportunity still in your hands. What are your thoughts around it all?
I'm very split, to be fair. In terms of if I wanted to referee on a Sunday league, yeah, why not? Let's start again. But it's been such a stop-start season in terms of, like, as a level 4, like, consistency is what you pray for. 3 months out, I can almost put money on me being assessed first game back. Almost put money on it. And like, out of shape, I wouldn't say out of shape, but out of practice, and the things you worry about massively will come into play. So in terms of that, I'd probably be pretty nervous. Nothing to do with COVID, but as like a personal point of view, like, being honest, I'd be pretty nervous to come back into the pool and be like, right, I've now got to perform again 3 months out.
So are you going to try and get as many friendlies as you possibly can in the first week or so, just to get your eye back?
Maybe 1 or 2, because I find if I do too many, I'll be then fatigued.
Yeah.
Because match fitness comes and goes again. So, like, I've kept in shape by running every week, but there's only a certain amount that running can do. There's nothing to match fitness, like we find out every year. But yeah, I'd love to get back into it. Go out with a team again, have that banter, that changing room. But on a personal level, like, I've had a good season up until now, and for it to be 3 months out and then to be pushed again with really no preseason would be, pretty heartbreaking for me. On a personal level.
No, thanks for that, Matt. What about yourself? Are you ready?
I think similar to Karl in that I'm A shape, but not in shape. But yeah, I was thinking about this. Obviously, yeah, it's great that we've sort of got the sort of a provisional date. Obviously, things could still go wrong. 29th of March. So it's not just a case of being physically in shape. It's also, when was the last time any of us checked what the laws of the game are in certain aspects? When was the last time we checked what the competition rules are? So it's just sort of refreshing ourselves on that, and also remembering sending out our availabilities to various leagues and whatnot. In regards to the fixture congestion that was touched on, so because I've had all sorts of discussions with refereeing colleagues, as we all have. So normally the season, it's actually got in the FA rules, it has to end at the end of May. Now they have extended it at the moment till the end of June, but I wonder if some leagues or some clubs even say, no, we've got to get straight back into our fixtures because we've got so many to complete that friendlies may not be an option. For Saturday, Sunday clubs might be okay. We might be able to get one midweek game on the Tuesday or Wednesday, and then straight back in on the Saturday or Sunday. So I know one of the leagues I operate on, they've only completed 4 games this season. So they've got another 18 league games to compete, plus obviously any cup. Well, so I think we might see some leagues do null and void. We may see County Cup scrap. There's a lot that, ifs and what ifs and that could happen between now and the 29th. I think, we all want the seasons to be fully completed, so there's something in the records. And I'm also with John, and I'm going for promotion on the women's pyramid. I've got 3 observations I've got to get in still. So
you're happy in that sense that you've got the opportunity to get them in, right?
It's more the fact that I've got to get 3 observations in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
Normally I'd do 3 observations across the season. I've got to get them done in 3 months. And that's assuming that my leagues do continue and don't declare themselves null and void. So, it's going to be tricky.
No. Go on, Callum. Last but not least, what are your thoughts? Are you raring to go? How has your season been so far? Because as a level 3, I think the Northern League are you on? So didn't they start in November?
Yeah, so it was stop-start. So I done my first game in the FA Cup in September. And unfortunately, I had a family bereavement, so I had a few weeks off. And then unfortunately, we went back into lockdown. So I've ref 2 middles this season, one in the FA Cup and one in the FA Youth Cup. I've had a few more lines. So yeah, first year at level 3s, but it's been disappointing really. But I've just had a bit of bad luck and things that I can't control. Looking forward to getting going again next season. Really, unfortunately, the National League North's just been declared null and void. So I imagine step 3 and step 4 will also follow suit of step 2. So it's just about getting as prepared as possible for pre-season. I think the positive of it is it potentially could have 6 months to work hard and be in as good a shape as possible for 2021-22. So looking forward to getting back. I'll probably get out and watch some lower level football and see what games I can pick up potentially over the next couple of months.
Wow, so you're already starting to think about next season, really?
Yeah, start planning ahead and just start working hard, ready for next year. I think we're all missing it. I think we're all missing the getting out on a Saturday and part of the team, and like John alluded to, the banter and everything. It's a massive part of our lives that people don't realise, and when you get something like that taken away, it's very difficult.
Well, so I think we're ending the podcast on a bit of a somber note, but in terms of thinking about getting back out there, I think everyone's just full of excitement. Really, let's get back out there as soon as possible. Karl, Matt, Callum, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Matt and Karl, that was your second on our show. So next time you'll get a hat-trick ball when you come back on. So we'll get you that when you come back on in the future. Callum, thanks for joining.
I was just going to say to John, if you want to do one of the new friendlies, I'll hit you up. Don't worry. Or Callum, it's a long way down from Liverpool, but
I've heard Brighton's a good night out, so when the pub's open, give me a shout.
I can pay £12 travel expenses. That's my limit. Is that right?
That'll do me. That's a couple of pints in it down there.
Well, maybe one.
Yeah,
1.5. Exactly. Thanks everyone for your time. Really appreciate it. For those who are listening, we're looking forward to the game restarting. Let us know your thoughts to any of the things that we discussed. Tweet us, write a comment on YouTube, wherever you see us, just give us a shout. Thanks for listening, or thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.